Good morning, Philippines! Good morning, world! latter part of the year. At nakakatuwa po na makita yung ating mga anak na napalaki natin ng ayon sa mga tinuturo ng ating Diyos, at napalaki natin na merong bright future at active sa church, active maging sa kanilang pag-aaral o education to prepare them for their bright future. Alright, so let's begin the tutorial how to be a wise father, or how to be a wise dad to your children, like King Solomon. Well, you might ask, what is the primary duty, the number one responsibility of a father? Ano ba ang numero unong responsibilidad ng isang ama o tatay sa kanyang mga anak? Well, marami po ang pwedeng isagot dyan ng mga maraming tao. According to our culture, according to our history, many will say the primary duty of a father is to bring home the bacon, or meaning to bring food, to bring money, to be the breadwinner. What is the primary duty, responsibility of a father? The primary duty, responsibility of a father is not what a little boy said. He said the primary duty of my dad is to take out the trash. The primary duty of a father is not even to bring home the bacon, or bring food, or bring money, be the breadwinner. The primary duty of a father is not to fix what is broken in the home. These are the things that our culture, our history tell us. Ang number one daw na responsibilidad ng isang ama ay magtrabaho at pakainin ang kanyang mga anak, magtrabaho, ayusin kung ano yung mga dapat ayusin sa bahay. Many people thought that is the primary duty or responsibility of a father. Well, to tell you frankly, according to the Bible, that is not the primary duty of a father. Pag sinabi po natin primary, ibig sabihin, number one. So, what is the number one duty, responsibility, accountability of a father to his children? Is it to provide money? Is it to fix what is broken in the home? Or is it to bring out the trash, as that little boy once said? So what is really the primary and number one duty, responsibility of a father? Well, I will share that to you this morning. And according to the Bible, from the Old Testament up to the New Testament, the primary duty of a father is to teach, or to train his children about righteous living before God. So, that is the primary, the number one responsibility of a father to his children. Not to provide, not to fix what is broken in the home, although that is included in the responsibilities or duties of a father. But the number one, the primary is to teach and train his children to be righteous before God. So, yan po yung sinasabi, tinuturo ng Bible, at yan po ay makikita natin mamaya sa ating mga babasahing verses. I will give you scriptures, verses from the Bible itself, particularly from the book of Proverbs, because we're talking here about how to be wise father like King Solomon. And King Solomon wrote the book of Proverbs. So I will show that to you later on. So we're just establishing right now to be clear to all of us what is the primary duty of a father. So gaya po ng binanggit ko kanina, ang tinuturo o sinasabi ng ating mga kultura o maging ng ating kasaysayan o history, ang ama, ang father, ang daddy, yung tatay, ang number one duty or responsibility ay pagtrabaho, pakainin ang kanyang mga anak, o kung may nasira sa bahay ay i-repair at something like that. Yan po yung nasa isip ng maraming tao according sa ating culture or history. But again, I want to emphasize and reiterate this morning for all of our fathers out there, according to the Bible, ang number one pong responsibility natin, accountability natin, is to teach, to train our children in righteous living. And in this process of teaching our children, according to the first chapters in the book of Proverbs, there are about 10 lessons that we must teach our children in order for us to be a wise father, in order for our children to be wise children. Alright? Of course, if the father or if the dad is wise, most likely the children will be wise as well. And on the contrary, if the father or dad is fool or foolish, most likely the children will be foolish as well. According to our saying, we have saying, like father, like son, like father, like daughter. So, yan po yung principle, alright? So, if we will faithfully teach, if we will consistently teach our children by precept and example, so the high priority of Scripture then is that fathers should teach their children and thus raise up a generation of godly or righteous children or citizens in our country. Alright? So, I will give to you later on the 10 lessons we must teach our children. Well, because God ordained this, and because God wanted us to be sure that it is followed carefully, according to our Bible scholars, God gave us a manual. Meron po tayong manual na dapat sundin, no? Sa pagtuturo, pagtitrain ng ating mga anak. God gave us a manual to use in teaching our children. We call that basic resource book. And you know what is that book? I already mentioned it. That is the book of Proverbs. And I want to invite everyone, especially fathers out there, who are watching or will watch this video, I want you to go to the book of Proverbs, and I want you to turn it, and I want you to follow me in reading the verses, the text in the book of Proverbs. Alright, we're going to be looking at the first 6 or 7 chapters of Proverbs. And FYI, for the information of everyone, yung pong chapter 1 up to chapter 9 ng book of Proverbs, they serve as the introduction of the book of Proverbs. But the wise saying, the collection of Proverbs or wise saying, you can read that starting in chapter 10. Actually, I already reviewed, and I am reviewing again what I have learned from the book of Proverbs. Yan po yung aking pong dinidevotion every morning. I already started from chapter 10 of the book of Proverbs. Right? So before I give to you the 10 lesson, let me point out to you what is written in that wonderful book. Chapter 1, verse 8. It says, "Hear, my son, your father's instruction." Chapter 2, verse 1. "My son, if you will receive my saying." Chapter 3, verse 1. "My son, do not forget my teaching." Chapter 4, verse 1. "Hear, O sons, the instruction of a father." So you might ask, Dr. Lopez, Bishop Lopez, what is a proverb? Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng kawikaan sa Tagalog? What is its definition or meaning? Well, proverb is very simple. It is a principle stated in concise form. We could say a proverb is wise in content but concise in form. Ibig sabihin, naglalaman po yan ng karunungan ng Diyos, mga wise sayings yan, pero yan po ay nasa mga short sentences or short phrases. It is a brief to the point statement for the purpose of instruction, brief, short, to the point, that madali po silang ma-remember o matandaan. So what we have in Proverbs then is a compilation of these short yet wise statements. I'll say it again. Short but wise statements. So basically, that is the definition or meaning of Proverbs, especially when you read the book of Proverbs, starting in chapter 10. And I am encouraging, I am challenging, especially our fathers out there, to please read chapter 10 of the book of Proverbs, and also including our children out there. Read the book of Proverbs, read it starting in chapter 10, so you will be wise, you will be wise dad, wise father, so you will be wise children, you will be wise. Why? Because the wisdom of God is written, revealed, contained in those short but wise statements. Right? Well, nowadays, sa mga panahon po natin ngayon, in our modern times, there's a lot of instruction available today for fathers to teach their children, much of it even in Christian context, but I could say they are, many of them, trivial. Much of today's instruction is to be a friend, Listen to your son, listen to your daughter, go places with them, take them to a ball game, have fun, follow their interests, etc., etc., etc. Well, the book of Proverbs have to say much deeper than that, especially when it comes to fatherhood or motherhood or biblical parenting. It says, teach your son trivial things, and you will raise a trivial father who will teach his son trivial things. But you teach your children deep things, particularly from the book of Proverbs, and you will raise wise son, wise daughter, wise children. Alright? So, in today's video or tutorial, I will teach now or share now the 10 lessons that will really help us, especially tayo pong mga dad, tayo mga fathers, to be a wise father like King Solomon to our children. And as I said in my intro, they dominate the first 6 chapters of the book of Proverbs. Alright, so what is the lesson? Number 1. Lesson number 1. We must teach our children, our sons, our daughters, to fear God and to trust the Lord with all of their hearts. Yan po yung number 1 lesson sa book of Proverbs. When you read Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, it says, the fear of the Lord, I'll say it again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And when you go to chapter 9 verse 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And when we read chapter 3 verse 5, many Christians are very familiar with these texts. We can read there, trust the Lord, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Don't lean on your understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. So, basically, dalawa po yung pwede nating ituro sa ating mga anak sa mga nabanggit kong mga verses or talata. First, we teach them to fear God. Second, we teach them to trust God. Fear God and trust God. Well, everything starts with fearing God. Teach your son, tell them, son, daughter, mga anak, fear God. Magkaroon tayo ng tunay na takot sa Diyos. Well, ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng fear of God? Let me explain that to you in a short explanation. Well, it means that we must teach our son, our daughter, our children to fear God's right to punish or God's right to discipline or God's right to judge. God is a holy God, and He has all the right to punish sin, including our sins. So if you want to do your children greatest favor, one you must teach them is to fear God. Napakahalaga po nitong takot sa Diyos, na meron tayong takot sa Diyos, no? According to the Bible, marami pong tao ngayon walang takot sa Diyos. Dahil wala silang takot sa Diyos, ang nasa isipan nila ay laging God is a loving God. God will never judge our sin. He will never punish us. So, they are doing whatever sin they want to do. Whereas, when we realize and understand that God is not only a loving God, but is also a God of judgment, who is ready to punish or discipline us for our sins, we will have fear of God. So basically, ang ibig sabihin po niyan natatakot tayo sa Diyos dahil ang Diyos mayroong karapatan, may kapangyarihan para tayo ay parusahan, para tayo ay disiplinahin, para tayo ay paluin sa mga ginagawa nating kasalanan. At dapat unawaan natin yan at tunay na magkaroon tayo ng takot sa Diyos. Dahil po, pag meron tayong takot sa Diyos, we will really avoid doing something evil. Kasi takot tayo sa Diyos, takot tayo sa parusa ni Lord. So, hindi lang fear of God, we must teach our children to trust God. Sabi sa chapter 3, verse 5, we tell them, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. We trust the Lord with all of our heart. So, that is the number one lesson we must teach them. Right? Lesson number 2. We teach our children to select or choose their companions or their friends. So, mabasa po natin yan sa chapter 1, verse 10. Napakaganda po nito, no? When you read this, it says there, my son, when sinners entice you, don't go with them. Avoid them. Sa Tagalog, sabi po sa Tagalog yan anak, pag ikaw ay kinukumbinsi o iniimpluwensyahan ng mga masasamang tao, sabi po doon, huwag kang makinig sa kanila, iwasan mo sila. So, yan po yung number 2 lesson na dapat ituro natin sa ating mga anak. We must teach that very important lesson. We have the responsibility to teach our children on how to choose their friends. Even in the New Testament, the great Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 13, you know what he said? He said, bad company corrupt good morals. So, ibig sabihin, pagka tayo ay nakikipagbarkada, nakikisama, sabi nga nila, nakikisama sa mga bad company, mga bad guys, mga masasamang barkada, sooner or later, that will corrupt our good morals, that will corrupt your children. So, do not allow your children to be in bad company or sa makasama sa mga masasamang barkada. Yung pong example niya, yung mga gang. You know, gangs appeal to the children, and they have a very strong bad influence that our children must avoid. So, marami po tayong story na pwedeng mabasa tungkol dyan. Meron nga isang story sa United States, a little boy who would not take drugs with his friends in New York City. And dahil ayaw niyang makisama sa kanilang mga masamang gawain. So the gang set the boy on fire. It's really, it's really horrible. It's really dangerous. So we must teach our children to select their friends or their companions. Pagdating po sa mga friends, sa ating mga sinasamahan, we must be selective, we must be choosy, we must be careful. Sabi nga, may kasabihan nga tayo, tell me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. Alright? So, ang number 2, lesson na dapat ituro natin sa ating mga anak ay umiwas to avoid bad companies, bad guys, and bad groups, right? We make sure our children are not with this kind of people. Tell them to avoid the bad guys, alright? Avoid the bad guys. We must teach that to our children. Right? Number 3. Not only bad guys, but we must teach our children to control their body so they will have sexual purity. We can read that in Proverbs chapter 2 verse 16. Chapter 2 verse 16. Actually, this is very important. I have observed when I studied the book of Proverbs that this text is repeated many times. So, ibig sabihin po, pinapakita dito na ito pong lesson na ito ay napaka-importante dahil ilang beses itong inulit-ulit yung pong pagtuturo sa ating mga anak na umiwas, to avoid not only bad guys but also bad girls. In original Hebrew, it refers to the mga immoral na babae. Right? So, we teach our sons, we teach our daughters to avoid what we call premarital and extramarital sex. They call that fornication and adultery. Yung pakikipag-sex sa opposite sex na hindi pa kasal, bago yung kasal, at yung tinatawag natin adultery, ito naman yung kasal na, may asawa na, nakikipag-sex pa sa hindi niya asawa. So technically magkaiba po yung fornication and adultery or premarital and extramarital sexual relationship. And whether it is premarital or extramarital, fornication or adultery, we must teach our children to avoid these sins. In order for them to avoid that, they must avoid immoral women or what we call bad girls in our society. Any wise father, sino man pong tatay na wise, marunong, matalino, those fathers realize that young men or even young women, yung ating pong mga anak, they're going to develop passion, especially when they're growing up. That can lead them into tragedy if they don't learn to control their body or their sexual desires. So, yan po yung number 3 lesson. Again, I said this repeated many times in the beginning chapters of the book of Proverbs. So, number 2 lesson, protects our children from evil men. Number 3 lesson, protects our children from immoral women, bad girls around them. So, as fathers, as wise fathers, we must teach our children about sexual purity, self-control, so they don't destroy their lives and their families in the future. So we must tell them, we must teach and tell them to avoid not only bad guys but also bad girls. Lalo na po yung mga bad girls, sabi nga nila na umaali-aligid sa ating mga anak, lalo na kung ang anak natin ay lalaki. You must teach our children, our sons, to avoid those bad girls. So we already have 3 lessons. Teach them to fear God, avoid bad guys, avoid bad girls. Right? So lesson number 4. Bilisan na lang po natin so we can finish it in short time. Lesson number 4, we must teach our children about financial management, how to handle their money. And we can read that from chapter 3, verse 9 of the book of Proverbs. It is written there, honor the Lord with your substance, with your first fruits, and so your barns will be filled. And meron pong parallel passage yan sa chapter 6, verse 1 to 3. But let me just give it to you quick. So first, we must teach our children to, number 1, pay their tithes, the 10% of the money they have. And they also must give generously in their churches where they are attending. So yung aking pong Unica Iha ay maliit pa lang yan, tinuturuan ko ng mag-tithes, tinuturuan ko lang magbigay ng offering sa church. At ngayon ay magta-3rd year nursing na siya, ay yan po ay patuloy pa rin niya pinapractice whenever she attends the church every Sunday. So basic po yan, fundamental po yan, and that is very important to teach our children on financial management and how they handle their money. And not only that, of course, we must teach them to spend wisely. Hindi po yung kagaya ng marami na sabi nga nila one day millionaire. Pagka nakatanggap ng pera, gastos dito, gastos doon. Kaya pagdating ng kinabukasan o the other day, broke na, wala ng pera. Kaya nga nila one day millionaire. O sabi nga nila, ubos biyaya. We must teach them to save. No? Pakalaga po ng savings. Napakalaga na mga bata pa lang ng ating mga anak ay tinuturuan na natin sila about savings, how to handle their money. And of course, kasama po dito yung turuan natin silang wag mangutang. Wag mangutang, wag mangutang. Lalo na maliit pa yan turuan na natin to avoid getting into debts o yung mga pangungutang, no? At I said, meron tong parallel sa chapter 6 verse 1 to 3. Nakalagay po sa chapter 6 verse 1 to 3. You know what? This is a prohibition against yung pagiging co-maker. Alam po natin yung pagiging co-maker. So, even the Bible forbids us na wag tayong magiging co-maker, accountable for the financial accountability of others. Kung yung iba hindi makapagbayad, tayo yung sasagot. So, even the Bible forbids that. You read that in chapter 6 verse 1 and 3. So, we must teach that to our children. They must avoid being co-makers. Kahit pa mga friends nila yan, especially if those people are strangers to them. Well, even kahit sila ay friends or not friends, the point there is you don't make yourself co-maker. You avoid that. You don't make yourself accountable for the financial liability of others. Right? So, napakalaga po na tinuturo natin to sa ating mga anak. Again, to be wise father and for us to have wise children. Turuan natin sila about financial management. Give your tithes, give your offering, etc., etc., as I mentioned here. And number 5, fifth lesson, nakasulat din pala ito sa Book of Proverbs. Well, nalagay po sa chapter 3, verse 21 or 27 up to 35. Basically, it says, we must love our neighbor, right? Well, dapat nating turuan, we must teach our children on how they should deal wisely with neighbors. So, dapat tinuturuan natin yung ating mga anak ng pakikisama na merong karunungan sa mga kapitbahay. Hindi pakikisama, kundi pakikisama na merong wisdom. Sinabi po natin wisdom, we do not allow our neighbors to deceive us. Hindi natin pwedeng payagan yung mga kapitbahay natin na lokohin tayo or impluwensyahan tayo sa paggawa ng hindi maganda. Alright? Sinasabi po sa Bible, we love our neighbor, but it doesn't mean na we will allow them to deceive us or influence us or take advantage of us. So we must learn to deal with our neighbors wisely, with God's wisdom. And we must teach the same thing to our children. So, dapat tinuturuan natin yung mga anak natin maging wise sa kanilang pakikitungo sa mga kapitbahay. Right? So, it's also written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, 27, 28, 30, 31, up to 35. And number 6, sixth lesson, father especially must teach their son and daughter or children about obedience to parents, including discipline. So, mabasa po natin yan sa book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 9, verse 10. Nakalagay dyan, my son, obey the instruction of your father. My son, listen to the words of your father. My son, hear the sayings of your father, etc., etc. So, yan po yung mga nakasulat sa Book of Proverbs. And again, it shows us that the father teaching their children about obedience to parents, and not only obedience to parents but also about discipline. Mahalaga yung discipline. We can read that in chapter 3 verse 11. Yung pong text sa Bible na nagsasabi about the chastisement or the discipline of the Lord. Well, pagka sumusuway o nagre-rebelde ang ating mga anak, that is really the time we must discipline them. Not only in words, but even in action. If we love our son or daughter, we're gonna discipline them, we're gonna rebuke them, and we will discipline them. So they must learn to obey their parents, and discipline is part of that. I like what is written in chapter 10 verse 13. A rod is for the back of him who lacks understanding. So, may time po na kinakailangan paluin, alright? Sa tamang parte ng kanyang katawan para po sa kanyang discipline, para matutong sumunod sa mga magulang. Alright? Lesson number 7. We must teach our son to guard their mind. Guard their mind. Yan po yung nakalagay sa Proverbs chapter 4 verse 20 to 23. It says, tayo po mga fathers, we must be guardian of our child's mind. We must keep the right stuff going in, the wrong stuff going out of their mind. It is our duty before God to guard the mind of our children. And that means we need to protect them from what they are exposed to. So, napakalaga po ng mind, no? Dapat binabantayan din natin kung ano yung ginagawa ng ating mga anak, pinapapasok nila sa kanilang mga isipan. Sabi nga sa Book of Proverbs, guard your mind because out of it comes the issues of life, right? Sabi sa Proverbs 4:23, keep your heart or keep your mind with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So, dapat po ay pinabantayan din natin, again, yung ating mga anak kung ano ka na lang nilalagay sa kanilang mga mind. So, turuan natin sila, we must teach them what they should entertain in their minds and what they should not entertain in their minds. Sad to say, marami pong kabataan ngayon, their minds are polluted with pornography, with all the garbage in our society, because they are opening their minds to this garbage at wala yung kanilang mga parents to help them guard their minds. Well, as Christian parents or Christian fathers, we have the responsibility to guard the mind of our children and make sure kung mga isipan ng ating mga anak ay hindi polluted ng mga basura na nakikita at naririnig natin sa ating society. Alright? And number 8, we must teach our children to guard or watch the words watch their words. Yan po yung mababasa natin sa chapter 4, verse 24. We teach them to avoid, number 1, bad words, mga cursing, mga pagmumura. Hindi lang po yung mga ganyan. We must also teach them not to practice lying in their words. So, dalawa po yung nakasulat dun sa Bible. Turuan natin sila na they watch the words coming out of their mouth. Make sure na hindi yan mga mura, mga bad words, mga curse words, at hindi mga lies or deceits. Right? So, pagka ginawa po nila yan, we must discipline them in a way that they will never forget it, and they will do their best not to repeat the same error. Right? Napakaganda nga, sabi nga ng mga naririnig natin na napakaganda kung ang ating mga anak ay hindi nagmumura at hindi nagsisinungaling. Right? So, a wise father teach his children to avoid bad words, lying words. Alright? So, number 9 and number 10. Binibilisan na lang po natin because this is somehow long, 10 lessons. Number 9. When they got married, pag sila po ay nag-asawa na, we must teach them to enjoy their wives, their spouses, to enjoy the marriage, to get satisfaction from their spouse, from their wife. Yung kanilang satisfaction, particularly pagdating sa sex, ay namimit ng kanilang mga asawa. Well, it is written in the Bible, in the Word of God, particularly in Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15. So, when you are sexually thirsty, frankly speaking, ang lesson po dyan, find your satisfaction with your wife. That's what it means. When you are physically or sexually thirsty, well, you find your satisfaction from your wife. Ibig sabihin, frankly speaking, pag nangangailangan tayo o yung ating mga physical body ay merong sexual desire, sexual needs, at tayo'y may asawa na, of course, ang dapat pong mag-satisfy niyan, mag-meet niyan, ay yung ating asawa, particularly yung ating wife. So, ang lesson po dito, you get satisfaction from your wife, from your spouse, and you don't get it from other women. I'll say it again. You get your satisfaction from your wife or from your husband, from your spouse, so that you don't get it from other people. Right? Yan po yung design ni Lord sa marriage. That's why one of the reasons why we have marriage for sexual union, to meet our sexual needs, something like that. So that according to, sabi nga ni Apostle Paul sa 1 Corinthians, to avoid immorality, each one must have his or her own spouse. So yan po yung lesson dito sa Proverbs chapter 5 verse 15. I want you to read that on your own, but bear in mind the meaning of that is get satisfaction from your wife, not from others. Right? And last, number 10, lesson number 10. And I love this. We must teach our children about pursuing work, hard work. Napakaganda po nito. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6. Sabi dito, sabi sa Tagalog, ikaw na tamad, tingnan mo ang mga langgam. Ang mga langgam, walang mga boss yan, pero nagtatrabaho at nag-iimbak ng pagkain in preparation for the winter. So, kung itong mga ant, yung mga langgam, masisipag, napakalayo po nito sa mga tamad. Alright? So, napakaganda nitong lesson na to. This 10th lesson, we must teach our children. I want to elaborate more on lesson number 10. Our final lesson, we must teach to our children. We must teach them to pursue work. So that is the lesson here. Sabi dito, son, go to the ant. Tingnan mo ang langgam, anak. So, pag binasa po natin ito sa chapter 4, verse 11, the context, well, let me summarize it for you. Ang pinapakita po dito is the Bible is against oversleeping and laziness. Let me repeat that. Oversleeping. Sobra-sobrang tulog. Puro tulog, no? Walang ginawa kundi matulog. Imbis na magtrabaho, natutulog. Kaya ang resulta, laziness, katamaran. No, imbis na magtrabaho, natutulog at tinatamad. Yan po yung lesson dito. At ang sinasabi dito, it is teaching us to work and work hard. And we do not allow or permit our children to do oversleeping and laziness. Let me explain that. Hindi po masama yung matulog. Kailangan ng katawan natin na matulog, rest. Pero kung puro na lang tulog, yung ginagawa ng ating mga anak sa ating mga bahay, at kinukonsinti natin sila, imbis na mag-aral, natutulog, imbis na pumasok sa trabaho, kung meron ng trabaho, natutulog, at pinapayagan natin, we're allowing them, ibig sabihin kinukonsinti natin. So the danger of that is that will become their habit, at pag naging habit na po yan, magiging tamad na yan pagka dapat magtrabaho, hindi nagtatrabaho kundi natutulog at tinatamad. Alright? Before I end, let me ask this question. Why there are many lazy husband, tamad na mga lalaking may asawa? Tamad na lalaking may asawa, ayaw magtrabaho, inaasa yung pagtatrabaho sa kanilang mga asawang babae. Tamad, nakadepende sa kanilang mga asawang babae. Imbis na sila yung magtrabaho, tinatamad, nasa bahay lang, at ang ginagawa, inaasa, dinidepende, nakadepende sa asawang babae sa pagtatrabaho. That is, for me, laziness. Katamaran po yan. At ang problema, sa tanong natin, why there are many lazy husbands and lazy children? Bakit maraming tamad na asawang lalaki ayaw magtrabaho, inaasa sa mga asawang babae, nakadepende sa asawang babae yung pagtatrabaho at ayaw magtrabaho, at maraming matatamad din, tinatamad din ng mga anak? Bakit? Why? Because saan po ba nagsisimula yung mga yan? Hindi ba sa ating mga tahanan, sa ating mga bahay, sa ating mga pamilya? Because they are allowed, permitted to do so in their family or in their houses. Itong tamad na asawang lalaki, naging tamad sa pagtatrabaho kasi kinonsinti ng asawang babae, no? Hindi naman invalid, hindi naman naka-wheelchair, pwede namang magtrabaho. Ang taba-taba, ang laki-laki ng katawan. Pero, yung babaeng asawa ang nagtatrabaho. Bakit? Of course, one reason is, kinonsinti nung babae, yung kanyang asawa, na magtamad-tamaran at huwag magtrabaho at iasa sa kanya yung pagtatrabaho. At kung yung mga anak natin tamad, bakit po naging mga tamad yan? Kinonsinti natin, pinayagan natin na maging tamad sa mga bahay natin. Kaya, I want that to be realized by everyone. So, ang lesson here, para hindi tayo magkaroon ng mga asawang tamad, huwag natin silang konsintihin, no? If needed, we push them to do their work. Kailangan silang magtrabaho, lalo na yung mga lalaking may asawa, na lalaki ng katawan, ang tataba, ayaw magtrabaho, nasa bahay lang, at inasa yung pagtatrabaho sa kanilang mga asawa. At kung nakikita natin yung mga anak natin tatamad-tamad, huwag natin silang konsintihin. We must discipline them if necessary, at kailangan natin silang tulungan na maging masipag. Napakadelikado po, very dangerous yung tamad, laging tulog ng tulog. No? You're going to make yourself poor if you don't learn to work. Ang makikita pa natin dito, pag binasa niyo po ito sa Proverbs, ang conclusion dito, pagka lagi kang tulog ng tulog at tatamad-tamad ka, you know what will be the result? Poverty. Poverty. And I agree with that. That is correct. That is right. Ang taong tatamad-tamad at puro tulog, alang ginagawang trabaho, sooner or later, magiging poor yan. Pero, I like what is written in Proverbs 10, verse 4. I want everybody to read that. Proverbs 10:4. It says, the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Wow! I love that. That's what I want to practice. That's what I want to teach to my children. And you must do the same. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin nun, ang taong masipag, who work and he works hard, you know what it says? Will be rich. Di ba nakalagay doon? the hand of the diligent will become rich. Sooner or later, they will become rich. Why? Because they working hard. They are hard workers. At hindi sila mga tamad. Tulog lang ng tulog. No? So, yan po yung last lesson. We must teach to our children when it comes to work. Lalo na po pagka dumating na sila sa kanilang mga age, sila po ay mag-work na. Alright? So, in conclusion, to summarize it all, guys, beloved brethren, my fellow fathers, for this Father's Day celebration, year 2024, let me sum it all up. The primary duty of a father, like you and me, not to bring home the bacon, not to fix what is broken, although that can be our responsibility, but the primary duty is to teach our children. So teach them, train them, especially these 10 lessons I have shared with you in this tutorial. And when we do that, when we practice that consistently, we will be wise father, wise dad with wise children. Happy Father's Day to all fathers out there.